Tonight on CTV News at 11:30. It was the goal heard from coast to coast to coast.
I thought the game was good, but I think Canada can improve and review what they did in this game.
Football/soccer fans buckle up as the World Cup gets started. Police say they're now treating that fire at a homeless encampment this week in Sudbury as homicide. And geopolitical tensions and the weather hasn't made this year's growing season easy.
You're probably 7 days behind our typical planting start date.
Farmers say it's still, however, full speed ahead.
CTV News at 11:30 with Ian Campbell and Tony Rima with weather.
Played through towards Kyle Larry! It's Kyle Larry with the goal! He's only just come into the game. And now Kyle Larry writes a new story in Canada's sporting history with the country's first World Cup goal on home soil.
The goal heard this afternoon from coast to coast to coast. This scene would tie the game down in Toronto, ending Canada's match against Bosnia-Herzegovina in a draw. Canada now has 1 point on the board for the World Cup. Its next match will be against Qatar next Thursday. Good evening. Thanks for staying up with us. FIFA fever is at an all-time high. Bars, restaurants, and community events across the country were packed with people cheering them on. CTV's Madison Merrier took in the historic game from a viewing party with some local soccer players and fans.
One Sudbury soccer superfan traveled to Toronto to watch the opening game in person.
When things don't come around as often, that's why it's so special. And when you have country versus country, obviously there's a lot of pride on the line, and it's the biggest trophy in the world. So I'm expecting the atmosphere to be chaotic, but also electric.
For those who are unable to drive down to Toronto, watch parties are bringing the game's atmosphere up north.
I think that right now the ticket prices are a little high. It's hard to get tickets to go and watch the games live. I think that was really the whole point of hosting, was to make it accessible, but FIFA's made this almost inaccessible. So the next best thing is to get together and get to watch the games live with family and friends.
Does it compare to watching it here?
Definitely. It's so much funner here.
It's kind of fun being able to come here since part of my team was here, and so we just kind of got to watch the game together, and we were talking about what we could probably do on the field tomorrow.
Sudbury Soccer Club's head coach Brian Ashton represented Team Canada when he was younger, and he hopes the tournament will show the next generation the possibilities in Canadian soccer.
Tell that story to them and make sure that they realize that, listen, I've got things that I need to pass on, and hopefully some of you guys will, and especially the young kids, of course, that it's a passion, and you have a chance to do this. If I could do it, you can do it, and I think you just need to be exposed to it a little bit more.
Even though the game ended in a tie, Sudbury fans say they're excited to watch Canada take on Qatar.
Could have been better. I thought it was going to be 3-2 Canada, but 1-1's not bad, I guess. I thought the game was good, but I think Canada can improve and review what they did in this game.
Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sudbury.
As World Cup excitement grew today inside Toronto Stadium, FIFA fans were treated to a colorful concert. Local performer Alessia Cara was among the performers who spanned various cultures and put on a show. Accompanied by dancers and artistic representations of Canada, Canadian actor and comedian Will Arnett addressed the crowd before kickoff with an extra Canadian touch. And CTV News is the place to be for all the fun. There will be complete World Cup coverage over our network, TSN and Crave, throughout the next few weeks. Make sure to catch it all here. Go Canada, go. In other news, Thursday's fatal fire at a homeless encampment downtown is now being treated as homicide. That from Sudbury Police, which says investigators have determined several people were seen fleeing two tents in Energy Court immediately after a fire broke out around 3:30 yesterday morning. Police have determined several people were seen fleeing the two tents immediately after the fire broke out around 3:30 yesterday morning. A 41-year-old man was found dead in one of the tents after the fire had been extinguished. And a 79-year-old man has been found dead inside a home following a fire in the Sudbury community of Levac early this morning. It happened on 2nd Avenue. Police say the death is not considered suspicious and there's no word yet on a cause. After discovering the man in the home, responders began life-saving measures before the individual was pronounced deceased. A major traffic disruption in Sudbury's downtown core for anyone trying to get past the rail tracks. This was the scene earlier this evening. Several crossings were closed along Elm between Pine Street and Frood Road. CTV News has received several reports that a train had struck a pedestrian. Note that has not been confirmed yet by first responders. Sudbury media were recently told police did not want to be called outside of business hours. We've reached out via email for a call. We're still waiting to hear back. The trial in the 2020 stabbing death of 19-year-old Samuel Graham Jr. was back in court today in Sault Ste. Marie. CTV's Courtney Nordstrom has more tonight from the courthouse following closing submissions.
Crown and defense were far apart as today saw the final submissions before a sentence is imposed on Montana Lewis. The severity of the manslaughter case was questioned, with Lewis's attorney seeking a sentence equivalent of time served, with the Crown believing a 13 to 15-year sentence would be appropriate. Montana Lewis spent just under 5 years behind bars for his role in the 2020 stabbing death of Samuel Graham Jr., the remainder under house arrest. Each lawyer argued the weight that should be considered for harsh jail conditions, pre-trial bail conditions, and Gladue factors, which could see his time served equal a 9-year sentence. Both considered aggravating factors, as Crown lawyers stated this was close to a murder charge with a high culpability. The defense highlighted the clean prior record of the now 23-year-old, reading letters of support from those who've seen his growth in recent years. The matter is now adjourned to July 15th to set a date for sentencing. Some of the final words at today's proceedings were spoken by Montana Lewis. He addressed the parents and others close to the late Samuel Graham Jr., stating that he is sorry for the pain and suffering he has caused to all involved. During yesterday's victim impact statements, both parents said they could never forgive their son's killer for the hole he has left in their family. Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
Residents in Chigang on Manitoulin Island were told to shelter in place this morning after reports of gunshots. OPP and the UCCM and Anishinaabe Police Service were called to Riverside Drive, where one person was taken into custody. Another person was held for questioning. The shelter in place order was lifted around 11:30 this morning. A dispensary in Garden River First Nation has closed its doors while police investigate 2 overdoses. One person died and another was hospitalized in 2 separate incidents in the First Nation. In both incidents, young people had smoked cannabis from a bong. Little Green Garden posting on social media saying it has come to our attention that cannabis purchased from Little Green Garden was present at both incidents. Out of an abundance of caution and at the request of Anishinaabe Police Service, we have temporarily closed the store while the cause of these overdoses is investigated. The dispensary went on to say their hearts are with the families and loved ones of those affected. And tonight, Algoma Public Health says it has been notified by the Ontario Poison Centre of a 3rd recent poisoning in the Sault Ste. Marie catchment area after a person used what they believed was cannabis. Among some of the tips they're offering, they're asking people to never use alone. Always start with a low dose and call 911 if you can't wake a person up or their lips and fingernails turn blue. There was a procession along the Highway of Heroes this morning for fallen OPP Constable Tarun Bali. Around 10 this morning, emergency services and civilians alike lined overpasses along Highways 401 and 400 between Ontario's Chief Coroner's Office and a funeral home in Thornhill. The 29-year-old was killed Tuesday in the Northern Ontario community of Hearst when he was struck by a vehicle while trying to stop the driver who had escaped from hospital. 18-year-old Justin Verneau has been charged with first-degree murder.
It feels heavy, but we sincerely appreciate the support that has been shown by members of the community, our other police services that are here, first responders. It goes a long way in helping us as we grieve and mourn the loss.
Bali served with the OPP for 2.5 years. The police service's funeral arrangements will be shared as they become available. The North Bay Mayor's salary will be front and center at Council next week. Councillor Corey Gardner is putting forth a motion directing staff to look at the pay of Northern mayors, including base salary, benefits, including pension and travel. Gardner previously suggested the office and councillors are unpaid. In his motion, he says it's important towards attracting diverse qualified candidates for the job. Election day is October 26th. Evacuees from Matagami First Nation could start returning home as soon as Monday. That's according to Fire Chief Curtis Fowler in his latest update to the community this afternoon. Timmins 9 and its proximity to both Matagami and Gogama had sparked an evacuation over concerns. The Ministry of Natural Resources has the fire still not under control, but they add good progress continues to be made. These are some of the latest images coming from the area. The MNR has assigned 12 Ontario Fire Ranger crews, a 20-person incident management team, 5 pieces of heavy equipment and 5 helicopters to the area. Time now for a short break here on CTV News. Coming up, Tony will have your full weather forecast. For now, a look at the current conditions at Greater Sudbury lifting its fire ban today. Things understandably a lot cooler. We've got 16 in Kapuskasing, only 9 in Wawa, 14 in Elliott Lake, 15 in Parry Sound. Some cloud cover in Kapuskasing and Timiskaming Shores. We'll have full details coming up after the break.
Good evening, everyone. Now your main weather forecast, and as usual, we are going to start off with our forecast radar. Clear skies right across the broadcast region, which is rather nice. However, that is going to change, especially into the morning hours. We have some rain on the way for Sault Ste. Marie along with Manitoulin Island. Risk of thunderstorms. Then it starts to clear a little bit, but another band in through the Sault along with Sudbury. And the North Shore also getting rain Saturday afternoon. And then that system moves into North Bay a little later on in the day at 6 p.m. on Saturday. Then we start to get some clear skies, which is rather nice. And then some overcast conditions on Sunday. Let's take a look at our 7-day weather forecast, starting with Sudbury Nickelbell tomorrow. Well, the big cool down has started. Tomorrow 23 degrees, and then it drops even more. However, one constant, rain stretching right into Friday. That's when we start to get some clearing skies. As we head on over now to Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, 40% chance of showers, and then things really cool off on Sunday. A little bit more sunshine, 14 degrees. Monday looks good, and then back to the shower activity, increasing cloud cover. Only Thursday 17 when it should be 21 degrees this time of year. For Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, some showers, also rain cloud mix. Temperature falls like a stone on Sunday. Monday, temperature improves just a little bit, but again, we start to get back to the rain, a little bit more constant, especially Thursday, 40% chance of showers. In through Timiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake, shower activity tomorrow, but some clearing breaks, still above seasonal. Then the temperature drops, but the raindrops keep coming. Look at that. Rain Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, a break in the action. 21 degrees, almost spot on for this time of year. And finally, your 7-day weather forecast for North Bay, West Nipissing tomorrow. Sun, cloud, shower activity, 23 degrees. Starts to get a little bit cooler. Monday, a little bit more sunshine. However, the showers will persist. Temperature ticks up on Tuesday, then in through Wednesday, Thursday. It's still going to be a soggy day. 40% chance of shower activity on Friday. A mix of sun and cloud coming in at 21 degrees. In Campbell, it's back over to you.
Thanks, Tony. Speaking of weather, this growing season has proved to be challenging for farmers across the region and province due to geopolitical tensions and a delayed spring. CTV's Amanda Hicks has more.
It's a busy time of year at Valley Growers, Northern Ontario's largest potato farm, which has been in business for 45 years. However, owner Justin Gaudette says it hasn't been a strong start to the season.
With our big snowfall we got in April, that 2 feet of snow definitely put us back a little bit. So it was a wet, cold spring. We are probably 7 days behind our typical planting start date.
Gaudette says his fertilizer costs have risen 10%. To combat this, he says he is using high-tech soil mapping to avoid wasting any nutrients. Northern Ontario Farm Innovation Alliance says it's a struggle being felt across the region, adding that unpredictable weather is keeping growers on edge and local challenges are colliding with global politics.
I always tell people this This gives us all the practice we need to go to Vegas, as we become really good at gambling. Now we're getting hit with higher fuel prices. And it's not just the price of fertilizer, it's whether or not it'll be here when we need it.
According to the Grain Farmers of Ontario, the cost of essential crop fertilizer has jumped by an extra $100 a ton because of geopolitics. District Director Jason Seed says tariffs on Russian imports and shipping conflicts in the Middle East are punishing local growers.
There was an FCC study done on the tariff that we have on Russian fertilizer imports right now costs us about $100 a ton. But in the end of the day, the only thing that tariff is really affecting is Eastern Ontario farmers. And we're take a big chunk out of the fertilizer world market, as it's already getting rather small because of the Strait of Hormuz issues.
Back at the farm, Gaudette is keeping his eyes on the horizon and is encouraging the community to continue to buy local.
In farming, you never really know. It's like you just, whatever Mother Nature sends at you, that's what you take.
Amanda Hicks, CTV News, Blizzard Valley.
For the first time in more than 25 years, a rodeo has returned to Timmins. The inaugural Timmins Ram Rodeo has attracted competitors from across Ontario, Quebec, and the northeastern United States. CTV's Lydia Chubak reports.
Okay, here we go. A Timmins snow dump has been transformed into a rodeo arena. Organizers say more than 130 competitors have registered for the Timmins Ram Rodeo, which is also running in conjunction with Rotary Ribfest.
We figured that Timmins would be a great hub. We don't have too much of this here in Timmins, and we can draw from all surrounding communities in the northern corridor.
The two-day event is part of the Ram Rodeo Tour, a circuit that attracts top cowboys and cowgirls and offers a path to championship competition.
The money from here goes towards the Eastern Canadian Championships, and then we do the Toronto Royal Invitational Rodeo, and then if they're in the top 4 from that, they make it to that. So they're following this pretty close.
Among those making the trip north is 14-year-old barrel racer Sierra Walker of Arthur, Ontario.
It's a very long drive up here from where I live, but I'm excited. I've never been up this to Timmins, so I wanted to see what it was like up here.
Walker says every stop on the circuit counts as she works toward qualifying for the finals.
I'm really determined to make it to finals this year. So I love, going to this was important for sure.
Economic development officials say the rodeo is already helping boost tourism in the city, and it's why organizers are receiving $60,000 in MAT tax funds.
So this will really put us on the map in a very different way. This is where you're going to come to see a great rodeo happen.
Saturday night's event is already sold out, and organizers say they're hoping to bring back Ram Rodeo again next year.
This is where we needed to be for this year, and it's a great location, very dry grounds, good footing.
The Timmins Rodeo offers the most prize money on the Ram Rodeo Tour, a key reason organizers say riders made the trip north. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
Nipissing University will soon be offering a new program with new funding from the provincial government. $2.8 million is being invested in the new Bachelor of Community Planning program. The program is still in development, with the first intake of students expected in the fall of 2027. The bachelor degree will have a focus on small to mid-sized communities, northern regions, and Indigenous communities. Called Community Planning, it will also see an additional $190,000 as part of the province's efforts to support construction and planning training in Ontario. Still ahead tonight on CTV News. Espanola comes together in an overwhelming show of support for a teacher fighting cancer. A West Nipissing family is looking for a place to stay while their son waits for organ transplants in Toronto. As CTV's Eric Tashner explains, the family is reaching the maximum time allowed to stay at Ronald McDonald House.
A giggling and cheerful boy, little Noah Plouffe is a brave warrior. While he makes the most of his current health situation.
He's a bright light, and he's always so happy.
Noah was born with a rare genetic disorder, autosomal recessive polycystic kidney disease, or ARPKD. Noah needs daily life-saving hemodialysis treatments, so he's been going back and forth between the Ronald McDonald House and Toronto's Sick Kids Hospital for 2 years.
Biggest fight of his life.
By the time Noah was 18 months old, both of his kidneys were removed. But there's good news on the horizon. Last fall, doctors determined his vessels are now large enough, and he's currently on a combined liver and kidney transplant wait list.
We are now actively waiting for a call at any given time. It could take a while, a longer time or a longer expected time for him to get the call, just because he needs both organs.
Noah has spent most of his life between Sick Kids Hospital and the Ronald McDonald House. But as their policy stay nears its end, Noah and Heidi will have to find a new place to live near the hospital. And even after the transplant, Noah will still have months of critical follow-up care.
But then there's a lot of uncertainty in Noah's case because he's getting both organs.
So Noah's grandmother, Audrey, is organizing a weekend-long virtual walk.
The response has been overwhelmingly heartfelt. It does take a community to raise a child.
The money raised will help Noah and Heidi find new living accommodations and cover the cost of medical supplies.
I'm hoping that the community, every community in and around, can come together, consider supporting this beautiful little family.
With Noah's biggest battle still to come, the family knows support will help him with his journey.
We're very grateful. It truly means so much.
Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
The Alzheimer's Society of Ontario and the Brainwell Institute have partnered with over 35 organizations across the province to create the Ontario Dementia Task Force. The goal is to create a dementia care coordination model. CTV's Lindsay Alick reports.
Dr. Joanne Clark, the first geriatrician in northeastern Ontario, is confident in the advice the Ontario Task Force will be able to provide.
We want to have a more coordinated system, similar to what you might see for cancer care, for stroke care, that once you start to have these symptoms, that you know where to go for a diagnosis, treatment, that you get supported along that journey so we can reduce the rate of progression.
What we heard, we speak to people living with dementia and their care partners every day, is they are spending hours and hours on the phone trying to coordinate care for their loved ones, access the right services when and how they need it, and they are struggling. They are waiting months, if not years, to get a clear diagnosis.
Sivananthan says the task force was brought together as they feel the root cause is a lack of an integrated, coordinated approach with accountability at the provincial level, not necessarily a lack of funding.
It includes specialized geriatric services, mental health supports, home and community care, assisted living, medical associations, so family physicians, the College of Family Physicians, nurses, because dementia crosses so many boundaries. It's not a health-only condition. When you have dementia, your housing is impacted, your transportation is impacted.
The rates of dementia will be tripling by 2050. And if we don't have a system of care to help early identification, early education, early support, early treatment, we are only starting to see the crisis that will come. So we need to do this for our patients, for our system, and for better health outcomes.
The group will spend the next year mapping and understanding how other major conditions have been coordinated and will provide recommendations to the government to hopefully influence the Improving Dementia Care in Ontario Act. Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Sudbury.
Finally tonight, there was an overwhelming show of support by high school students in Espanola today for a teacher recently diagnosed with cancer. Espanola staff and students at the high school took part in a walk to show support for Jill Beer, a math and business teacher who is awaiting surgery for uterine cancer. When she was diagnosed in early May, she vowed to walk 100 kilometers in June to raise funds for cancer research. The students joined her in that effort, calling the school team Jill's Courage Crew.
I was absolutely touched. The students really wanted it to be a surprise. However, I saw an email that had gone out to all staff, but I was still surprised. I, probably cried ugly tears, and I'm kind of glad that I got those out of the way. But then I am floored by the support that I've had.
She was the mayor. She's been a teacher here for 20 plus years. She has touched many of younger generations. She has taught plenty. My parents remember. Many other people's parents probably remember her. And when I first heard about her diagnosis, I figured that it was the least we could do to give back to her.
It's a good sign of these amazing kids who, we want them to be successful academically, but also to grow up and be good, kind people who do great things. So this is a perfect example of that today.
Over 500 people took part in today's fundraising walk and barbecue. Way to go, Espanola. On that uplifting note, that takes us to the end of our newscast this Friday night. For the latest news anytime, remember you can head to our website, CTV News Northern Ontario.ca. All of our material, including our newscast, is now available on Crave and YouTube. We've also got an app. Have a wonderful weekend for you soccer fans. Go Canada, go. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you Monday. Good day.